Something wild is happening in Cleveland, and it feels bigger than one bad game. What started as a messy offensive performance has turned into a full-blown national storyline. Deion Sanders casually drops a prediction. The internet goes berserk, and suddenly everyone's asking the same question. When does Shedeur Sanders get his shot? This isn't just about Dillon Gabriel's shaky debut or Joe Flacco clinging to relevance. It's about a franchise that looks disoriented on offense, while its defense plays like a different team entirely. Cameras keep cutting to the sideline. Fans chant a name, and social feeds fill with one demand: put Shadur in. When a legend like Deion throws fuel on that fire, the chatter stops being local noise. It becomes a pulsing headline that the Browns can't ignore. Behind the jokes and the memes, there's a raw, urgent tension. Coaches defending a plan, analysts shaking their heads, and a fan base that's tired of being patient. Shadur sits calm, just there, collecting reps and attention in equal measure, while the team's offense keeps stalling. The result? A pressure cooker moment where leadership, timing, and bravado collide. By the time this settles, it won't just be a quarterback change. It could be the moment that decides a season, a coach's future, and the identity of a franchise. Stick around, because the next move won't be subtle, and when it happens, it's going to feel like everything in Cleveland finally flipped. The Browns' trip overseas was supposed to be a fresh start, a clean slate, a chance to prove that all the off-season hype actually meant something. But instead, their showdown in London against the Minnesota Vikings turned into the kind of performance that gets replayed for all the wrong reasons. Dillon Gabriel, making his much-anticipated debut, walked onto that field carrying both the promise of potential and the weight of expectation. 90 minutes later, all that promise looked like it had been left somewhere in customs. From the opening drive, the Browns' offense looked out of sync. Checkdowns, hesitation, missed reads, it all felt painfully cautious. Every time Gabriel had a chance to stretch the field, he pulled it back in. Every time a big play seemed possible, something short and safe replaced it. It wasn't that he was terrible. He just looked small in a moment that demanded something big. Then came the final drive. Down 21-17, the Browns had a chance to steal the game. But what followed was a masterclass in frustration. Quick dump-offs, stalled progress, and a deflating incompletion that sealed their fate. When the whistle blew, it wasn't just a loss. It only took one sentence from Deion Sanders to send the entire NFL spiraling. During his appearance on the New Heights podcast with Jason and Travis Kelce, Deion didn't tease or dance around it. He practically confirmed it. Calmly, confidently, he said what every Browns fan had been shouting from the rooftops. He's going to get his shot this year. That he, of course, was his son, Shedeur Sanders. Those words hit harder than a highlight reel. Within hours, clips of the interview flooded social media. Fans went from hopeful to convinced. Analysts debated whether Deion had just leaked something the Browns were trying to keep quiet. And by the next morning, Shedeur Sanders was trending higher than half the Sunday scores. Deion wasn't being reckless. He was being real. He knows his son, knows the preparation, the poise, the patience that's been building behind those sideline smiles. But the way he said it, calm, certain, almost prophetic, made people believe this wasn't just a father's faith. It sounded like knowledge. That's when national media grabbed the story and ran with it. ESPN, FS1, even local Cleveland outlets, all dissecting Deion's comments frame by frame like it was the Zapruder film. Suddenly, the conversation shifted from if Shadur would play to when. And when a man like Deion Sanders speaks with that kind of certainty, the league listens. Because if Coach Prime says the countdown has begun, everyone knows it's only a matter of time before the stadium lights up and Destiny walks out in a Browns uniform. The moment Deion's words hit the airwaves, the media machine went into overdrive. Within 24 hours, it wasn't just fans speculating. It was insiders, analysts, and former players all weighing in on what Deion might have accidentally confirmed. ESPN's Stephen A. Smith practically blew a gasket live on air, waving his hands and shouting, "Cleveland has no choice. You can't waste a defense this good with an offense this bad." Across the table, other analysts nodded in rare agreement. And when that happens on ESPN, you know things are serious. Cleveland insiders weren't any quieter. Mary Kay Cabot, known for her sharp takes, hinted that the Browns' patience with Dillon Gabriel might already be wearing thin. Even she couldn't resist mentioning how Shedur's name keeps popping up in front office conversations. Then came the reports from ERUPT and NFL Network. Not outright confirmations, but phrases like, "the team plans to give him meaningful reps later this season." Translation? They're getting him ready. Suddenly, every show, every panel, every highlight reel had one topic in common: the Browns' quarterback dilemma. Even national radio hosts who rarely touch Cleveland football were asking the same question: why is Shadur still sitting? And that's the moment it shifted from rumor to reality. Because when the biggest voices in sports start aligning, when journalists and insiders all start whispering the same name, it stops being speculation. It starts sounding like a countdown. The media had made up its mind. The fans already had. Now all eyes were back on Cleveland's locker room, because that's where the real storm was brewing next. By the time Sunday night rolled around, Cleveland didn't feel like Cleveland anymore. It felt like a fan base on the verge of mutiny. The hashtag said it all. Hashtag Start Shadur. Hashtag Free Sanders. Hashtag Bench Gabriel. Thousands of tweets, clips, and memes flooded timelines. Every Browns-related post turned into a battlefield. It wasn't just frustration anymore. It was a movement. Fans weren't just angry. They were united. Some posted side-by-side comparisons of Shedur's college highlights next to Gabriel's short checkdowns. Others mocked the play calling, editing exclamation. Clips of the Browns' offense to circus music or broken car alarms. Even neutral football fans joined in, saying things like, "At this point, Cleveland's trolling themselves." At the stadium, you could feel it in the air. Every incomplete pass, every wasted drive, every punt sparked a chorus of boos, followed by chants of Shadur, Shadur, echoing through the crowd. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't polite, it was pressure, raw and relentless. Even local radio hosts, who normally defend the team, flipped the script. Callers flooded the lines demanding answers, comparing the Browns' stubbornness to sabotage. The fans didn't just want change, they demanded it. And it wasn't only the noise outside. According to a few insiders, the chatter had already seeped into the locker room. Players were hearing it, feeling it, and quietly wondering the same thing fans were shouting. When does Shadur get his shot? Because this wasn't just about a quarterback anymore. It was about belief, and right now, the people of Cleveland believed in only one name. Behind the scenes, things in the Browns' locker room reportedly aren't as calm as the team wants fans to believe. Multiple insiders, none willing to go on record, have hinted at growing frustration between players and the coaching staff. Reports claim that a few veterans have started questioning the team's direction, quietly wondering why Shedeur Sanders still hasn't been given a shot when the offense continues to stall week after week. Rumors suggest that some defensive players, exhausted from carrying the team, has started voicing what fans are already shouting. One insider put it bluntly: they're tired of dominating every Sunday just to lose because the offense can't score. Another said that during practice sessions, Shedur's energy has been different, sharper, more confident, more controlled. And that hasn't gone unnoticed. Now, none of this is confirmed, but it's the kind of talk that spreads fast in an NFL locker room. It's been said that even a few position coaches have quietly hinted that the offense needs a spark. And while no one is openly challenging Kevin Stefanski, the tension is real. Because when players start picking sides, the ones riding with the current starter and the ones waiting for the next man up, That's when a team's chemistry starts cracking. The Browns can spin press conferences all they want, but the whispers tell a different story. Something is shifting inside that building. The players can feel it, the coaches can sense it, and the fans, they're just waiting for the inevitable. The day Shedeur Sanders steps onto that field and changes everything. While chaos brews around him, Shedeur Sanders has been the picture of patience. No outbursts, no cryptic posts, no interviews throwing shade, just quiet focus. Every time the camera pans to the sideline, he's there, helmet in hand, eyes locked on the field, studying every snap like a chess player reading the board. That calm isn't accidental, it's inherited. His father, Deion, built an empire on confidence and control, and Shedeur has mastered both. Insiders say he's been all business during practices. Coaches praise his work ethic, his composure, and his ability to command the huddle, even when he's not the starter. Players have described him as steady, locked in, unbothered. And maybe that's what scares the Browns front office the most, the idea that this rookie might already be more composed than the veterans leading the team. You can feel it building. The cameras catch it. The crowd senses it. It's like watching a storm gather strength before it hits. Each passing week, as the offense sputters, Shedeur's presence grows louder. Not through words, but through silence. And the pressure? It's becoming impossible to ignore. Every loss adds weight. Every fan chant adds fuel. Every analyst segment adds expectation. Shedeur isn't just waiting for his moment, he's preparing for it. And when it finally arrives, he won't just step in as the next man up. He'll walk in like someone who knew this moment was always his. Because patience isn't weakness, it's power. And Shedeur Sanders has been holding that power longer than anyone realizes. Kevin Stefanski has never been one to chase headlines. He's methodical, measured, and stubbornly loyal to his process, even when that process looks like it's driving the Browns straight into a wall. Publicly, he defends his decisions with calm professionalism. But privately, reports suggest the pressure is mounting. The front office wants progress. The fans want fireworks. And Stefanski? He just wants control. It's been said that Stefanski hand-picked Dillon Gabriel not because he was the most talented, but because he fit the system. A coachable, predictable quarterback who wouldn't go off script. The problem? The script isn't working. Week after week, the Browns' offense feels like it's running on autopilot. Safe plays, short passes, zero creativity. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders sits on the sidelines, representing everything Stefanski can't control: charisma, swagger, and spontaneity. Insiders believe Stefanski fears what happens if Shedeur takes over and succeeds. That kind of instant spark would shift power from the coaches to the player, from the playbook to the highlight reel. And for a coach already fighting for job security, that might be the biggest risk of all. But here's the thing about control. You can only hold on to it for so long. Each loss loosens the grip. Each fan chant rattles the foundation. And now, even analysts are questioning whether Stefanski's loyalty is to his system or to his own ego. Because at this point, it's not just about making the right call. It's about survival. And every week Shedeur stays benched, that seat under Stefanski gets a little hotter. Cleveland stands at a breaking point, a crossroads where patience meets pressure and hope collides with reality. The fans have chosen their side. The media has drawn its line. Even the locker room, if whispers are true, feels the weight of the moment pressing in. And at the center of it all stands Kevin Stefanski, clutching his playbook like a lifeline, while the future, named Shedeur Sanders, waits just a few feet away. This isn't just another quarterback controversy. It's the kind of defining moment that rewrites a team's story. Because when the crowd chants louder than the coaches speak, when the belief of a city shifts from the sidelines to a single player, change becomes inevitable. The Browns have spent decades searching for stability, for that spark that could finally erase the pain of the past. And maybe, just maybe, Shedeur Sanders is that spark. Not because of his last name, but because of the energy he brings, the poise he carries, and the way people rally around him before he's even taken a snap. So now, Cleveland waits, not for a miracle, but for courage. The courage to admit that the experiment failed. The courage to trust what everyone can already see. Because when Shadur finally steps onto that field, it won't just be another rookie debut. It'll be the start of something bigger. The moment the Browns stop surviving and finally start believing. And when that happens, one thing will be certain. Cleveland will never look the same again.